Yeah, hi everybody, this is Ryan here with you again today. It's the 25th of April, Saturday. Just got out here to the Petro in Spokane, Washington. Got a load delivering here Monday morning, so got a lot of time to catch up, do some videos on some things. Got a couple other little projects I'm going to do here this weekend. But we get a lot of questions and see a lot of people talking on the internet about what you can make at Landstar, what the average settlement is, or weekly statement and all that. And kind of want to get into that and share my statements and what I've done here in the last I just came back in February. I was here for almost 2 years before, and I left, went to Mercer for a while, or did a local thing, then I went to Mercer and came back over here February 26th, I believe. So I've been here right at 2 months. I've been back over here, so, and things have been going pretty well, even with the COVID-19 thing going around. I think I've done pretty well with that, kind of being flexible. And but the thing about Landstar is there is no dispatch here. You're on a load board. Nobody's going to call you in most cases. I mean, if you're in kind of a hot area, agents can search trucks and they might call you and say, hey, I got this load. But typically that's not going to happen. So if you're not proactive, if you don't like calling people and kind of hitting the pavement and doing the work and looking for loads, that you're not, you might have a bad time here, basically. So I mean, it's all dependent on you, what you want to do. I mean, the lanes that you're running, where you live at, how long you're staying out, things of that nature is all what's going to come into play when you look at how much you're going to make here. And so it's really not a black and white answer. I mean, you get 65%. If you're using a company trailer, you get 65% of the line haul, 100% of the fuel surcharge, and usually on a lot of the accessorials, you'll get 100% of those as well. Some of them you get 65%, depending on what it is. But kind of with that, I got my last 4 settlement statements up on the laptop back here, and I'll go ahead and kind of show you all the money, basically, that I'm not BSing or anything like that. Because I think there's a lot of that out here. Guys saying I'm making this much, but they don't back it up. So I'll go ahead and show you that, and show you a little bit on the Landstar Online website, and we'll kind of go into a couple more things after that. So we'll go back here and take a look at that. So this is the homepage on the Landstar Online. So from here you can you can search loads. I've got a load alert set up. I'm looking for a load I got a load out of British Columbia. I can't find, there's really nothing available up here in Washington right now. So if you're coming up here, good luck. I got a passport and I'm qualified to go to Canada, so I found a load out of British Columbia that's going over to Minneapolis, and I can usually find something halfway decent getting me back into Ohio or Indiana or something. So I've got that alert set up. Here you see your comm data cards. I can take up to a pre-trip advance of almost $1,100. Here's my 2 loads that this OLL load, that's the load I'm delivering on Monday morning, the 27th. Then this is that Canadian load that I'm picking up, and I'm going to try to deliver it on Friday next week. Compliance events, that's like if you got a trailer inspection or truck inspection that's coming due. This is a nice little feature to search trucks, so you can actually search all the trucks in your area, so you can see how much pretty well the competition you got out here, and it tells who's on a load and who isn't. And pretty much the rest of the stuff I don't use a lot. Voluntary escrow, I don't really need somebody to manage my money, so I don't participate in that. But if you do, then it's there. But I'll go ahead and get right into these settlements. I got the last, I get paid on Wednesdays here. Everybody gets paid on different days, and they'll sign that to you once you come on board. But so this is April 22nd, last Wednesday. I did a load out of Detroit, Michigan to Pittsburgh, California. I was basically on the load for 4.5 days. Gross on that line haul was $5,905. You get 65%, so it came out like a little over $3,800. It was hazmat load, and I've been doing a lot of hazmat loads lately. They get $50 hazmat fee, and they, you get 65%. It's $3,250. And Landstar has been doing this for the month of April, this pandemic stimulus, where they've been giving you $50 additionally for every load. So we've got that on there. Then this is my fuel surcharge, so we've got that. So So basically for that load, my total was almost 4,300. I had some fuel tax for Oregon for one of my past trips. They took that out. I had a card fee where I loaded, put the $1,200 trip advance on there for fuel for that trip, which I didn't even use that much, so I had a lot of fuel money left over for my next trip that I delivered down in Idaho on Wednesday. So that kind of, with fuels being as cheap as it is, been kind of saving a lot there. But and down here is like the stuff that gets taken out. So I just came back in February, so they do $1,000 escrow to cover like if you leave and owe them fuel money, fuel tax, or anything of that nature. So that'll come out. They take almost $67 a week out until that's paid for. Then that'll go away. If you don't have an ELD, the Qualcomm, the OmniTrax IVG here, it's $800 I believe installed. I already had mine because I was here before and I came back over, so I don't have that coming out, but I think they take that out for like 10 weeks or something, so you'd have roughly $80 a week I think coming out for that. Your unrelated liability bobtail insurance, $22.38 a week, so it's roughly just under $90 a month for that. Your license fees, $369. Then I had a 5-month plate because I think they renewed the plates in May or June for the ones we have in Indiana. So they take that out, almost $46 a week. Then your permits for the year, your permit book. I have all my permits for 49 states, basically Alaska too, and the lower 48 plus Canada, $200 a year, and they take out $11.11 a week for that. Then you have your contractor protection program, which is basically like a workman's comp. That's pretty much industry standard. About anybody's gonna take that out, and that's $38 a week. So what is that, like $130, $140 a month? Additionally, that's not on here. You'll have your ELD airtime. I think that's like $27 a month. You will see it on one of the other statements here. And my comprehensive insurance I have through First Guard. If you've got over 5 years driving experience, or had a CDL for over 5 years, they're significantly cheaper than what Gallagher is if you go through Landstar, I think, what I've seen. For me, it was like half price, but I'm only paying like $135 a month on that. So basically my fixed costs are relatively cheap. And but on this week, like I said, I had 4 days on this load. With everything coming out, I'm at almost $3,000 for 4 days of work on this load. So that was a really good week. And down here, I'll show you guys this too. This kind of shows you any upcoming events due, like my tractor inspections due. We do them every 3 months. So mine's due in June. So by June, they give you like a 2-week grace period. The other thing I want to show you is my year to date. This is all my earnings to the truck. I mean, that's all of these added up down here that actually gets deposited to me, excluding fuel and all that. So sorry, I don't want to say deposited, but basically that's what I've made. And I've been here, I came back February 26th, so I've been here 2 months, and I've roughly taken 10 days, 14 days. So I've really only worked about 6 weeks, and I've made almost $25,000 here. But this is April 15th. I did a load out of Moreno Valley, California to Baxter, Minnesota. Again, we kind of went over all that in the last one, so I'm not going to go through it all again. But here's what was my cut. I was at $3,000. Took out my fuel, and I actually had I had a load cancel because I had a load out of Minnesota that was going back to Ohio, but it was on a Friday, and on Fridays you're kind of SOL. So I ended up I already had that load going to California booked for that following Wednesday, and so I wasn't gonna hang around Monday, so I just drove home empty. With fuel being the price it is, it cost me about $200 to drive home, but I got to spend 4 or 5 days at home and get some stuff done. But again, we kind of went over all these, everything you're paying there, so I don't really need to get into that again. But for that load there, for a couple of days, I mean basically a week, I mean I did a little over $2,000 there. So. And this is the 8th. Had a load out of Independence, Oregon, cabinets, going down to Phoenix, had a couple stops. you know, with those stops, you usually get 100 stops, and on loading pay you get 100% of that. And so it was almost at 2,400 on the to the truck. And with everything they take out, it was at 1,753. And finally, we go to the back to April 1st. I had to load out to Maumee to Auburn, Washington. This load here was actually should have been on that the 8th, but it got for some reason I had to call them and it got screwed up. But it's on here, but then it's taken back out, so it kind of cancels itself out. But on this load from Auburn, Washington, or Maumee, Ohio up to Auburn, Washington, I ended up doing almost $2,200. I think I was on that one for 4.5 or 5 days. So again, not a bad week there. And so that's kind of what you're looking at here. And on this page, you can kind of see this gives you all your settlement statements and all that. I don't know why. Yeah, and it gives you also your card activity. So if you want to see like all your fuel transaction stuff, you can look at that. But I'm gonna go back to the portal here, or Landstar Online, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about on the load board. So when you do a search, this is basically what you're gonna see. So I've got this search set up right now out of I got like a 250-mile radius of Minneapolis, set up for like a 150-mile radius of my house to get me back home and the dates that I want. So it tells you when it's picking up. This is the agent. They give a little agent code, then this is the number you're gonna call, and you'll call and say, hey, I'm interested in this load from Forest River, North Dakota to Angola, New York. It shows what it pays, and this right here, this is the total freight. They show you the total freight here, unlike a lot of companies, so you kind of know up front what they're actually getting. Then you have to do the math to figure out what you're gonna get. And if you're using a company trailer, you can usually times that number, because you're going to get 65% plus 100% of the surcharge. And I find if you times that by 0.68, it usually gives you a really good estimate of what you're going to get. So it's a little bit quicker than separating the line haul and doing the 65% of that and then adding in the fuel surcharge. So if you just, like I said, just times it by a flat 0.68 or so, 0.69, then it gives you a pretty close estimate of what you're going to get. But then it shows you the miles, it breaks it down per mile, and again, these are the overall rates, so you have to do the math to figure out what your rate would be per mile. Gives you you got your weight, shows you the weights on the load, and kind of what it is, but a lot of times that isn't accurate. And especially with food loads, I know I don't like to go to grocery houses, so a lot of times they won't be very upfront with that. So you have to I always ask what I'm hauling and where it's going before I accept the load. But that's basically the load board. We'll click on a load and I'll kind of show you when it gives you the details. So yeah, then it'll show you like the loads. You can do a search at the destination, so like a follow on, and it automatically searches for that date when you're going to be delivering. It tells you if it's team load, all that basic stuff. It even you can get a little map up. Kind of shows you where it's going, kind of a visual. But then again, you can click on this search loads. Then it'll bring you up a list of what you got coming out of there if you're looking for like a follow-on load. So yeah, rates they've kind of dropped a little bit. Like I said, I've gotten extremely lucky on the last couple loads that I've done, but that isn't the case for everybody. But that's pretty much, like I said, my last month of settlement statements and kind of a little brief overview of the load board and kind of the possibilities out there. But like I said, I've basically worked 6 weeks and done close to 25,000. And with price of fuel and everything, it's been a pretty good time to be running. But like I said, things are kind of slowing down now. I'm just looking to get back home and take some time off, and hopefully some of the states are going to be opening back up and from this COVID-19 thing, and things that kind of pop back up. But I hope that information helps you. And like I said, there's really not a clear answer as to how much you can make. It's pretty much dependent on you and where the lanes that you're running, the type of freight you're hauling, and how how much you want to run, how long you're gonna stay out. I noticed like with me, I try to do two to 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks is kind of my timeline. I know, like if you're trying to do like a week, I mean, it seems like I never really hit the numbers. Like if I'm trying to do a week run, I don't really hit my stride until after a week, you know, get into like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then I see kind of the numbers that I want. So that's something you got to take into account too, if you know how much you plan on running and where you plan on running, and you know, kind of getting to know the lanes, kind of knowing where the freight is, what agents have the freight is a big plus too. But I'm going to kind of do a follow-on video. I got a couple videos I want to do actually on Landstar. The next one I'm going to do is why I think some of the drivers fail here or have a bad time. And I'll get into that because a lot of different things. But I hope you liked the video. Hope it helps you out and answer some of your questions. If you like us, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and we'll keep putting more out there. But thanks for watching.